I think I would almost prefer that because then you don't even have to take the shots on you.
Well, if it's not going to be DeHart today, as we mentioned, there's several other players to look for, and another one will be Ava Ventrone, who, by the way, Ventrone this year, 79 career goals coming in, one of the middies we'll watch here today, but also 41 goals this year, and she's another one that if you don't have DeHart in the draw control area, you're going to have somebody like Ventrone that can do it as well because she has 28 draw controls coming in as well. Statistically, though, Matthew, it almost looks like maybe Zionsville might have a little more depth than Cathedral, but again, that's why we come out and play to see who's going to come out on top when it's all said and done.
That's exactly true. There's only so many players can be on the field at the same time. Depth can play a little bit into it, and I think the bigger thing is going to be conditioning. Are they conditioned well enough to stay that whole game despite having shorter depth?
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out because we'll keep an eye on the draw controls. The free position opportunity is going to be big tonight, and I always talk about those turnovers, as you know. When we come back in a couple of moments, we will have the opening of this one. It's quarter number 1 right around the corner. It's the Fighting Irish of Cathedral at 9-1, ranked number 5 in the latest polls. The Eagles of Zionsville, ranked number 4. They're 8-1. We'll get the first draw coming up in a couple of moments right here on Indiana SRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back as you take a look at the Eagles getting set for tonight's matchup, the Fighting Irish and the Eagles. Matthew, let's talk about how you see this one might play out, keys for both teams.
I think one of the keys that's going to be for Zionsville is shutting down O'Connor and Ahern. I think that having both of them both of them score the majority of their goals. With Ahern having 36, O'Connor having 34, there's no one within 20 goals of them. So shutting them down, playing good defense, keeping their save rate over that 50%, I think is going to be a key for Zionsville. On the flip side of that, for Cathedral, I think shutting down DeHart, I think, is going to be a play in their handbook that they need to keep an eye on, as well as I think just keeping that good defense above 50% save rate. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, and as well as overall that race to double-digit goals.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. It's time once again for the draw. Let's see who win this tonight. And on one side, you have Cathedral led there by O'Connor, and Sydney Rose in the draw for Zionsville. Tonight's game, by the way, is a copyright production of IndianaSRN and the Indiana Girls Lacrosse Association. Any use of audio or video without the express written permission of those 2 entities is strictly prohibited. So we are underway, number 4 and number 5. The first draw control won by the Fighting Irish, and we are underway. Cold and windy night here in Zionsville. We're hoping soon we'll get some warm weather. We have our first whistle that will stop play, and looks like we may have our first free position opportunity here for the Fighting Irish.
Going to be big opportunity here for Zionsville to get out in front early, show off what they can do.
And a good stick check will stop that attempt, as number 21, Ahern, was unable to get the first goal off a free position opportunity. So in transition, now in the critical scoring area, is Zionsville wasting no time getting that ball inside the 12-meter. And they'll set it up from there. Nothing available in that first push. So now they'll get it once again just inside the 8-meter. And the pass is dropped here to the near side, but they'll keep it and play it behind the cage. We're just underway between number 4 and number 5. We have another game coming up on Thursday. We'll see the Zionsville team play another tough one, and the shot and the goal. And it'll be Ventrone able to get on the board at 10:31 of this opening quarter.
That was a nice goal there, I'm not going to lie to you. Troy, I think first goal right away, she's going to slice down the middle, shot to that left side of the cage there. Got to keep mixing things up, and it's going to do well for Cathedral there.
Boy, a nice start for Zionsville as they now lead it 1-0. The draw control 1 moments ago by Cathedral. What you liked about that last play there, Matthew, for Zionsville, is that they started to make that move. It wasn't there. Played behind the cage. Did a great job staying patient on offense.
I think patience is going to be key here as well, as both teams have really good defense. And so not giving up on a play, but also being okay with starting over. Press the reset button and get things back going from the top.
Boy, Zionsville again quickly, after winning the draw control, they'll have their first Free position opportunity here to take a 2-1 lead. They'll go low, and the score once again, this time it'll be Sydney Rose, and that comes just 27 seconds later than goal number 1.
I just don't think the keeper was quite ready on that one. If we take a look back here, 5-hole, right? Exactly. In soccer, we call that a nutmeg, and I just don't think the keeper was looking for that.
So Rose on the board in an early 2-0 lead, and Zionsville kind of flexing their muscle early in this one. Well, the one thing about it is, and I'm sure Cathedral, you talked about some of their players already. They've got a couple of players that can score. But the thing is, you don't want to get down on the road here to a good Zionsville team, and so far that has been the case here tonight. The draw control still fought for it, eventually won by the Eagles, and they quickly moved inside to score in critical area, and a good save this time on the shot. First save of the day for Cathedral. And now they'll go back on offense. You see a little bit of a line change, a couple of players in and out for both teams. And now the Fighting Irish in transition, but they lose the ball, and it is still loose. And it's going to stay into the hands of finally of Zionsville. So our first turnover by Cathedral. After that nice save by Meshi moments ago, that'd be her 91st save of the year. So now Zionsville a chance to take an early 3-0 lead. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Reynolds Farm Equipment, the leading equipment dealer serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors in Indiana. Inside the 8-meter, and the ball comes loose, and we have a whistle and stoppage of play, and we will have another free position opportunity here for the Eagles. Once we get the free position shot, and a low shot, another save. Good job once again, that time by Meshi.
I think Meshi was ready for that one this time. I think last time she just wasn't quite ready for the 5-hole there, and I think Meshi was predicting that this time, and I think that showed off well.
Want to remind you again, Reynolds Farm Equipment, give them a call, 317-849-0810. So now, the Fighting Irish head the other way. They're still outside of the critical scoring area, but they turn it over now for the second time here in the opening period of play. And Zionsville back on offense once again. You know, we see so many teams, not only in the girls but the boys, and I use Hamilton Southeastern. We see a lot of their games as a prime example. They can play at 3 levels of speed. They can either go really fast or they can slow it down to almost nothing and still be able to score as that ball comes loose. And we're kind of seeing that already with Zionsville here tonight in this opening quarter.
I think determining the pace is really key in lacrosse. Nice goal there.
Yeah, that one inside. It'll be Alexa DeHart with her first goal of the night at the 7:21 mark, and the Eagles kind of putting Cathedral in a little bit of a shock mode right here.
Going off of rating, Zionsville is the number 4 over the 5. I will say that I thought coming out of this it was going to be a little bit closer. Now 3-0 is not anything that's uncomebackable, like especially because we're only early in this game with 7:21 left here in this first. I think there's got to be some sort of defensive shift here for Cathedral, an adjustment to make so they can stop allowing goals.
By the way, she had reached 100 goals last year, and I'm pretty sure we were here when she reached 100. She has 43 now this year. And another draw control won by the Eagles. They lead that category now 3-1, and they really right now have Cathedral. I know, as you mentioned, it's early, but kind of on your heels right now as it looks like Zionsville has about every opportunity they want offensively, and we're going to have another free position chance now for the Eagles. This will be their third already.
I think Meshi's got to look for something low here now. Not quite the 5-hole, and that was a nice save by Meshi actually went high this time and proved me wrong.
One thing about the keepers you see now, Cathedral in transition the other way, that's O'Connor, is I would always think that maybe I would like to, if I possibly can, if I'm good enough with the stick, is fake high, go low, or fake low, go high. Try to get that keeper to commit one way or the other and then try to make her move out of the way in order to get a clear shot.
And I think that's what keepers are trained to look for, trained to look for the fake and try to decipher what's going to be the commitment shot and the fake shot and kind of predict where they're going to go, and that's going to get them go a long way with them.
That is Rose once again. Nice dodge to the inside, got double teamed there. In fact, almost looked like a triple team. She recognized nothing was available and able to pull it out. By the way, 3 turnovers by Cathedral. Their last time down was their third as we are under 6 minutes to go. Rose trying to get away from 2 defenders, fires and got it. Another one for Rose, her second of the day, and it's now 4-0.
For a minute there, I thought that Meshi actually saved it. The way that she spun her stick, I thought that she had saved it.
What was nice about that, I mean, we're talking about a double team, and it looked like you said, I mean, I didn't think she had a really great angle against the keeper, but able to sneak it in there just down to the right near the waist area. And so all of a sudden now it's 4-0.
Yeah, talk about threading the needle on that one. I was for sure thought that Meshi had a good read on it, and at least having some sort of defender come over and help to at least deflect the ball, not necessarily save it, but way to thread the needle there on that shot.
Well, and right now I would say if you're the defensive side of things for Cathedral, they've got to push Zionsville out beyond that 8-meter, maybe even to the 12 if you can, and try to force a little shots further out, because right now Zionsville's getting everything relatively close. Still waiting to see who wins the draw control. It'll be the Eagles. They now have their 4th already, and they're quickly back in a scoring position. And right now, you kind of look at Cathedral chasing here on defense, and they just appear to be doing a lot of chasing, not as much defending.
Yeah, it's kind of like growing up playing soccer. We used to call it honey pot soccer, and where, you know, if the ball is there, you're going to see a group of little kids surrounding it. And I think if Cathedral sets up a defense like they had been based off of it. Ventrone,
wow. A ripper on that one, and that is only 40 seconds later than the goal they scored moments ago. Take another look at this. Is a rip shot right there. And the keeper had no opportunity whatsoever, and Cathedral needs a timeout. 5 minutes remaining in the opening period of play. Zionsville on top, 5-0.
We're not here to just sell you another piece of software. We're here to helping you procure the licensing, manage and monitor those licenses over time.
Collaboration is very key when working with our clients. We are very much a partnering organization. We definitely work as a team to deliver solutions for our customers.
We're here to build relationships with customers, which is unique.
Hi, I'm Grayson, and our parents work in road construction. Every day they head out to make our roads safer and better for you. But did you know work zone deaths have increased 63% since 2010?
Wow, that's a lot. Please slow down and pay attention when you see all those orange signs. When you do, you're helping to keep our parents and everyone who works on the roads safe. Thanks for looking out for us.
This message is brought to you by your friends at Highway Safety Services. Stay safe, stay alert.
Tonight's Game of the Week brought to you in part by the Morales Group. They're in business to create a better future for you, your family, and for the community we share. They can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for your company. If you'd like more information, give them a call, 317-472-7600. And Matthew, I think we're all kind of in a little bit of a shock right here, but it appears to me that Zionsville, as they say, they came to play so far tonight.
I would definitely agree with that. This game has been all Zionsville. I don't even Cathedral hasn't even had a shot on goal yet, from what I know. Maybe one, but I don't think they've had any whatsoever. The turnovers are absolutely eating them alive. And as far as the side of Zionsville, it's been all Sydney Rose. And on these notes, we said, Coach says that Sydney Rose acts as their point guard, essentially, to use basketball terms. And I would 100% agree with that, as she has been, the ball runs through her, essentially.
Yeah, and then she's back once again, looking to get another draw control. Whistle blows, and let's see if they may do it again. Very rare you'll see a mulligan on a draw, but we'll do it. O'Connor in there for Cathedral. Sydney Rose again for Zionsville, and so far every category, Zionsville dominating here in this opening period of play, and they're going to get another draw control. That's now a 5-1 advantage, and they will waste no time again. And guess who? Rose in critical scoring area and scores again. She went high-low and got by the keeper for her third goal. She now has the hat trick, and we're not even out of the first quarter yet. Nobody picks her up there. The defender was a little bit late, Lauren Craigie, and she just didn't get over there in time, and it's 6-0.
I think that's just recognizing where the play is developing from on the defensive side. You got to pick up your man, pick up your defender on the defensive side. You have to pick up the person you're defending, and that just didn't happen. And Sydney Rose had a wide open lane to the goal, took the shot, and the rest is history.
Sam Sturchy will now be in for Cathedral, and I would imagine at this stage for Zionsville, they may be sending a message to Carmel coming up on Thursday night at Carmel. We'll have that game here on IndianaSRN, a late whistle, and it will go to the Eagles again. And we have not seen Cathedral on offense in quite some time. An errant pass, which has been rare here in the opening period for Zionsville, and that's their first turnover of the night.
I think Cathedral is starting to come alive here. I hope this is the start of something big here for them. I love watching close games, just keeping the anxiety that it gives you and keeping you on your heels. I hope that Cathedral starts to bring this back a little bit.
Stick check, very dangerous area to be right here. You have Zionsville defenders chasing, and it really kind of put Cathedral back on their heels again as they've turned it over for the fourth time, unable to get it past midfield, and here come the Eagles again. They have been living at this end of the field all night long, and they went sidearm and a low shot to Hart, gets another one, her second of the night.
What a beautiful shot. I thought that DeHart was fully covered, and the stretch, she stretched at the hips, like leaned over, went underneath, and another magnificent goal there for DeHart.
By the way, that last goal was at 4:25, this one at 3:21. They've gone at the 2 at the 10-minute mark, 1 at the 7, 2 at the 5, now at the 4, now the 3. I mean, it's almost to the point where they keep this pace up, they'll have 35 goals by the time the night's over.
And that's the most, on average, I would say what we're predicting that would be the most that they've scored, would have scored all season. And so it looks like Zionsville has shown up on both ends.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're going to win another draw control. They are just simply putting on a clinic here in the opening period of play.
And like you mentioned earlier, I think this is going to send a message to Carmel coming up Thursday.
So once again, in the critical scoring area, good ball movement out front, and you're going to see really good passing. We've only seen one turnover so far for Zionsville. They try to make the move to the inside. That's going to be Rose again. Here is a nice move and a high shot by DeHart, and another goal in the opening period of play, and DeHart now has the hat trick.
2 hat tricks not even in a game. We're talking about the first opening period of a game here, and Zionsville is running away with this.
Wow. And you can kind of see the body language right there by Cathedral. as Kate Kerrer was kind of like, what's going on here? And so right now, Zionsville, everything is going their way. And it has been a while, Matthew, since Cathedral not only has had a shot, but since they've even played on the offensive side of things. They've been on the defensive almost this entire first quarter.
Yeah, I would like to see the possession clock for each team. We don't have that in front of us here, but if I had to guess, I would say that Cathedral's had possession of the ball. I would put money on less than 2 minutes of the whole game.
I agree. There is only their second turnover, and now the Fighting Irish in transition. They're having a difficult time just picking up the loose ball, and as you see right there, there's another turnover, number 5 now by the Fighting Irish.
It just looked like every time she went to cradle the ball, it would just pop out, and a series of unfortunate events there for Cathedral sends the ball back Zionsville's way.
And that's 2 in a row now for the Eagles on a nice stick check. So now back the other way with 2:04 to go. Zionsville will redefend right here. They haven't had to do this in a long, long time, so now the Fighting Irish will set it up. That's Abby Mattingly. As they'll play it out front now to Lauren Craigie.
If I had to guess here, the Fighting Irish are looking to try to get the ball into the hands of O'Connor or Ahern and somehow at least get something on goal here and just hope and pray that it falls into the net here.
Well, so far you see why that Zionsville defense is so stingy, is there is no lane to drive right there for the Fighting Irish. And we may have, for the first time tonight, actually only the second time tonight, the free possession opportunity. As Sam Sturchy will have it pretty much straight away. 2 defenders come in. It looked like it might have been a little bit of a high stick there toward the head of Sturchy, so that'll go against the Eagles, and we'll go right back and do it one more time. So number 3 now for the Fighting Irish. Only more, again, straight away. And the shot and the save. Had a good look at it, but a great save. In goal that time by Johnston. Came in with 58.
I think that's the first free position shot that Cathedral's had since the very first one, which I think is the first one of the game.
Yeah.
And so to at least get down on the offensive side of the field is at least progress there.
We are coming up on 20 seconds remaining in the opening period to play. The official stop play right there. Clock is now going to be at 17:07 as the 2 officials on this side are going to get together. Our officials tonight in all black here this evening. We have 3 tonight. We've worked, in fact, we did the IU Purdue game, men's game down in Bloomington a couple of days ago, and they only worked 2 officials, and that's a tough thing to do, is work 2 officials in a big field like this.
Yeah, I say the naked eye can only see so far, and I think I worked down at Anderson, and Anderson runs 3, I would say, every single time. I've seen 4. One time I've seen them run 4 because it was a conference game, and it was getting late, and they wanted to make sure that they had fully covered.
So once they reset the clock, they're going to put it at 30 seconds. So after the penalty and the turnover pretty much there on Cathedral makes it number 6. And so now the Eagles have 30 seconds, which is plenty of time. We've already seen that already. Plenty of time for them to get down and get in a scoring position. Amelia Rhodes lost it. That'll be their 4th turnover. Now does Cathedral have enough time here? Malarney had it for the moment, and now a whistle. They're going to continue to play through as Sturchy looking for an opportunity here. He's going to have to work pretty quick. The inside pass ball is going to be dropped, and that's going to do it for the opening period of play. It is all Zionsville. After 1, they lead this one 8-0.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience. We've got incredible specials, great service. Everything that we do here is made from scratch. We hand-cut all our steaks in-house. Bring your family, come have some great food.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you can be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Boilermaker Local 374. They represent highly skilled and motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication in the state of Indiana. When you need a safe, dependable workforce, you can count on Boilermaker Local 374. We were talking just a little bit during the break. We're kind of all in a little bit of shock right now. But you look at what Zionsville, I think they've been aggressive. They've won the draw controls. They're 8-1 in that area. They're creating space, and the defenders for Cathedral seem to be kind of flat-footed at times. But I don't think any of us really expected after one it was going to be 8-0.
I think that something that doesn't quite get looked at is confidence. Zionsville came in here with all the confidence in the world. I think they looked at the record and they said, yeah, they've played one more game than us. They have one more win than us. But we are ranked 4 for a reason. We are ranked 1 seed higher than them for a reason. Let's come out, show what we're made of. And I think Cathedral I don't know if they just weren't prepared for today or coming out just flat-footed, having an off day. But Zionsville's taking advantage of that, and they're going to put it to them.
Well, you know what? And when I was coaching a long, long time ago, it wasn't lacrosse. It was basketball. There are nights where for whatever reason, no matter how much prep you do and how much you tell your team you're playing somebody who's very, very good, for whatever reason, sometimes it just doesn't work out that night. And right now for Cathedral, that is it. I mean, they're going to find a way to battle back now. So here we go, period number 2. Very few offensive opportunities that time for Cathedral. They had 1 draw control. They did have 3 free position opportunities. That tied Zionsville both with 3. They had 6 turnovers, speaking of Cathedral. But right now, 2 players, already in the hat trick, Rose and DeHart for Zionsville. Now the key is, I'm sure, Matthew, you'd agree with this, just chip away it a little bit. Maybe you can get 4 this quarter and try to keep Zionsville scoreless. That way you can make, at least in the second half, say, listen, we're back within striking distance. We have a chance here.
Yeah, it can't all be done in one shot. You can't score 8 goals off of one shot. Right. You have to slowly chip away. And honestly, at this point, I would just say win the quarter. Win the quarter. As long as you score more than what you give up, I think that's a good strategy to go into this second quarter.
After the penalty against Zionsville, that's O'Connor driving in, and this is the second time she's had a high stick around the head area, and that's going to go against the Eagles. And O'Connor will give Cathedral now a free position shot right here. Good start here for the Fighting Irish. High shot and the save, and that's great reaction time there by your keeper, Jay Johnston.
Yeah, that shot was quick. I mean, we're talking lightning speed. I blinked and I almost missed it.
So another big save. Here come the Eagles once again. They are just as fast as any team we're going to see. And I haven't seen everybody this year, but we've seen a few teams. And right now, I would say Zionsville is quick as anybody when they're in transition. So now they will work just to the right of the cage. Let's see if they haven't had to very much tonight. Work behind the cage. Nice pass to the inside, and then the pass went a little bit high, and this could be a turnover here by the Eagles, unless they say it was touched. It looks like they may say it was touched by the Fighting Irish.
Something that I want to point out is Zionsville has been passing the ball really well, and I think that's what's working out for them and getting them open shots and getting those goals, which, I mean, the open shots end up being goals. And every time that I've seen Cathedral have the possession of the ball, they kind of just run with it, and they try to rely on their speed. And so I think Zionsville knew that coming into this, and that's why every single Cathedral player has got somebody marked up on them.
Penalty, and that will go against the Fighting Irish, and so another free position shot here. This will be number 4 now for Zionsville. Not a great angle here from the right side, but it's still an opportunity and a score once again. It'll be DeHart getting number 4 on the night. 3 in a row.
I like what DeHart did there. She started low, brought it low. I looked at duck. She ducked underneath a stick or two, and then she came high, brought it up, and scored high.
Well, one thing about that, Matthew, when you looked at the 2 defenders on our right side as we're looking at it right there, neither one of them cut her off and forced her back to the right. They just let her keep going right in front of the keeper. They got to find a way to stop her and make her change position.
Yeah, somehow get in front of the shot. Somehow get in front of the person who has the ball and able to defer them. Somehow detour them away from the net, and like you said, not go in there, scot-free.
Well, I would certainly like to make her not only change position, make her dodge one way or the other, and maybe get her off balance a little bit, but that did not happen that time. And we talk about this a lot, and I know you've worked with me before, and it's going to be another draw control win. That's number 9 now for the Eagles, and they waste no time again. But the thing we talk about so much is you can't let the other team dictate what you're going to do. You've got to change their trajectory. You got to change their direction. Otherwise, we're back again with another free position opportunity here for the Eagles, and they're straight away, and this is always very tough to defend, and that's why as Ventrone gets another one, and that's going to be her 3rd. Just way too easy right there, and that defense is really going to have to step up.
Yeah, having your 3rd player reaching a hat trick and then having one more than having 4 goals is quite the recipe for success here for Zionsville.
Boy, you are right on target there. It is now 10-0. That goal, the last one was at 9:33. This one was at 9:02. They're going to put it, well, they've actually run it down now under the 9-minute mark. So the clock will be running, but that goal was scored at 9:04. So if my numbers are correct, that's 29 seconds later. And that's about as quick as you're going to get. We saw the one earlier at 40. They just now surpassed that one.
Yeah, I think that's the quickest turnaround goal that I've ever seen. And to do that twice in under a minute is very impressive here by Zionsville.
Number 10 in the draw controls again, and guess who? This is DeHart in the critical scoring area, and then backs it beyond the 12-meter. Nice pass to the inside, and that's going to be a shot just off the post on the left. That was close to being an 11-0 contest here in the first quarter, or I should say first half. So now the Fighting Irish back the other way. They have got to get something going. That is Mattingly. Always seems like every time that the Fighting Irish get back on offense, I mean, there's just no driving lanes there at all, is there?
Yeah, there's nothing whatsoever for the Fighting Irish to work with. And, I commend Zionsville on that. Being able to clog up the middle like that and not get anything whatsoever. And what does happen to get through, the keeper's right there on it.
Yeah, Ahern with the attempted low shot, another save. It'll stay with the Fighting Irish, the player closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds on the end line is the team that gets possession. That'll go against Zionsville. And quickly, here come the Fighting Irish. They need more 8-meter opportunities and in. And there's another shot wide to the left as O'Connor had a pretty good look. This might be the longest possession the Fighting Irish have had it all night long.
Yeah, and I would guess that the possession clock for the Fighting Irish have actually probably doubled if I had to guess just based off this one possession alone.
Ball is loose, 50-50 ball as you see it continue to bounce around. And eventually it'll be Zionsville. That's the 7th turnover now by Cathedral.
And this game, I thought it was going to definitely be a battle of ground controls and turnovers, but it's played a bigger factor than I thought it would, actually.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper have been the trusted allies for all your inventory management, warehousing, fulfillment, and transportation needs. For more information, give them a call, 317-396-1023. Coming up on 6 minutes here in the second quarter, it is all Zionsville, a 10-0 lead. They led 8-0 after 1. DeHart now has 4 goals, and there is a turnover, number 5 now by Zionsville. Fighting Irish, hoping to have something to cheer about right here as you see everybody in transition, including that defense for the Eagles.
Yeah, on that one, it just looks like number 29, Charlie Reeves, just got a really good read on the pass there and was able to intercept it and head things back towards the end of Cathedral.
I think they got Steinberg that time on the penalty, so a free position shot here for the Fighting Irish. This will be number 5, and they'll work it straight away. See if they can get that goose egg off the board here in the opening period. They do not attempt it from the line, so they're going to work it back behind, and now from behind the cage as well. Very rare that you have a straightaway free position opportunity and don't take it on in yourself. The drive in and the shot, and finally on the board for the Fighting Irish. It's Ahern getting on the board, and they now trail it 10-1.
And that's exactly why Ahern is the leading scorer there for the Fighting Irish. And I think that shot threading the needle like we saw on the other end here for Zionsville, but a nice shot there by Ahern.
Well, you knew that Cathedral isn't going to get shut out. They've got Ahern, who's very good. You talk about some of their players. It would take a lot to shut them out, but still, they got a long way to go still at this point.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, I would guess, I mean, the way they were scoring, if you told me that they were going to get shut out, the way that it was going, I would have believed you. But like you said, I do think that it may be a little unrealistic to see them get shut out.
Well, if you look back over the now last 3 contests, that's only 5 total goals given up by Zionsville. So it isn't like it's been a regular occurrence over the last 3 games. There is number 11 now for Zionsville, and here comes DeHart once again and answers the call. Sidearm shot. She went high once again, and I see a whistle here. I think the goal's still going to count here. It's 11-1. But now DeHart, there you see it once again. Just great reaction time by DeHart, who now has 5 goals tonight. That one came at the 4:01 mark. And you look at the scoring this time, that was right after Ahern. That was 45 seconds, only the other way. So Zionsville just likes to keep it under a minute if they can.
Yeah, I think it's like a momentum thing. I think it's definitely once one person scores, you either got to match it or you got to just keep piling it on there.
Number 12 now. And again, on the run, but a turnover by the Eagles. That's number 6. Very rare turnover. Ventrone was looking to pick up her 4th goal of the night, as that'll go against the Eagles. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Dynamark. If you're looking to elevate your brand, choose Dynamark, your local one-stop for all your print, signs, promo products, as well as apparel and mailing services. They've been serving the Indianapolis area for over 50 years. Dynamark, give them a call, 317-328-2555. Fighting Irish trying to get back on the board as they scored at the 4:46 mark, and then, of course, Zionsville came right back. The move to the inside, another save in goal, and here we go the other way. Boy, Jay Johnston's had a nice night tonight, just giving up the one so far. But a lot of that has to do, again, with the defense that's been played here tonight by Zionsville. By the way, Guerin is number 1 this week. Carmel number 2, who we'll see coming up on Thursday. Hamilton Southeastern number 3, Zionsville number 4, and Cathedral is number 5 in the latest polls.
I'm interested to see how Thursday's matchup's going to look like. If Zionsville comes out like this, I think they're going to give Carmel a run for their money, especially because Cathedral's not a pushover. I mean, being ranked 5 for a reason, I think it's going to give Zionsville a little bit of confidence that, yes, they are ranked higher, but I hope that they can bring this energy into Tuesday and we have a nice matchup on our hands for Thursday.
Well, I tell you, you talked about that confidence level. It certainly is going to be, especially the way DeHart has played tonight with already 5 goals in this one. And here they're able to use a little bit of clock. They lead it by 10. I'm sure if they could get the last shot of the first half, they'll take it.
Yeah, and you mentioned DeHart having 4. I think that's all built off of Rose. I mean, she has 3 herself, building that off of Rose. DeHart coming in, adding 4 more on top of Rose's 3. That's 7 alone, and then you have your outside 4 goals where players have come in and out and gotten 1 or 2 here. And I think that's all based off of the momentum that was started by Rose.
Free position opportunity once again here for, this is going to be Catherine DeHart, number 13, who will work it straight away. And this is always a tough one for the keeper because you can go several different ways. Good stick check from behind as Ahern in there to knock it away. And they're going to have to work quick now as we're coming up on the last 35 seconds of this second quarter of play. They're inside the 12, inside the 8. Shot is no good, and then the rebound put back good. And let's see who they call that one with.
Johnson had the first one.
Alexa Wojcicek.
Johnson had the first one, and it was a very good read. And it happened, I think, hit the ground and bounce out of her net there. And it was just, unfortunately for Zionsville, a series of unfortunate events that it wasn't able to stay inside the net of Johnson.
So that is the second goal at 26.4. Zionsville still with a very comfortable and commanding 11-2 lead. You had mentioned earlier maybe the race to double digits first might win this contest, and right now it is Zionsville with that 11-2 lead. There is another opportunity and lost it right there for Zionsville. Still, it is a 50-50 ball and still loose. Eventually picked up by the Fighting Irish. Well, this would be big if they could get one more. But they lose it. Turnover. Number 8 now for Cathedral. And that will do it for the first half. It is all Zionsville in this one, though the Fighting Irish came up with a couple of goals in period number 2. They go into the locker room as Zionsville leads it 11-2.
Brian Chrisman joins me today. And Brian, talk a little bit about the winter and Wheeler Mission and how important it is for people to help Wheeler Mission, because winter means homeless and homeless means people in the cold. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we really serve a lot of people year round, no matter what the weather is, right? And so we serve anywhere from 700 to 900 people who are experiencing homelessness every single night. But when winter hits, that can become life or death. So if you're stuck out in the cold, happens every year. IMPD will find people out in the cold and encourage them to come in. But if they don't catch them in time, I mean, again, life and death. And so it's vital that our doors are open. And so we do that. Our staff shows up every day to make sure our doors are open. We serve 1,000 meals a day plus every single day. That's a nice, warm, nutritious meal. Donors provide that. Donors provide our food, coffee, something hot to drink. You know, donors provide that. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved at Wheeler to make sure we can get through winter, or to work at Wheeler. We need staff, and so we're always looking for staff to get us through the winter time. We spread ourselves thin during winter, making sure that anybody can find space, and so we have bed capacities. For sure, but we go beyond that every winter to make sure that the city has an option for people who are experiencing homelessness in the dead of winter.
Schools out there that are watching this program with our reach, maybe they want to do a sock drive, or they want to do a sweatshirt drive. They can contact our office at IndianaSRN, or they can contact you. Where's a contact, or who would be a contact that maybe we want to do a sock drive? I think that would be a great idea for SRN to start one of those sock drives. How would that? What does that look like?
Yeah, so if you go to wheelermission.org, we have our needs lists that are right there on our website. Those change sometimes in the winter, but there are some needs that are pretty much continual when it comes to hygiene items, when it comes to warm items to get us through the winter. So when you're talking about coats, especially bigger sizes for people that come through, we want to make sure a lot of people that come to our mission, they come with the clothes on their back, right? And so we need to make sure they have something to wear during their stay with us, and which could be for a few weeks, could be for a couple months. And so go to our website, wheelermission.org. You can donate directly there, whether it's a financial donation, or you can look at our needs list. You can even find drop-off locations. You can drop it off at some of the barns that we have around the city, or come right down to Wheeler Mission, drop it off right there. But we need this community's support. So greatest thing about Indianapolis is it is a generous community.
Yes.
It is a community that steps up when there's a need. And there's 1,700 homeless individuals in our community. That number has risen 5% just over the last year. Wheeler Mission is the main place for those individuals to go, has been since 1893, over 130 years. And so support that ministry so that those doors can be open, making sure that every man, woman, and child that needs to come inside can come inside and not only get warm, but get nutritious meals, food, shelter, and care. And so beyond that, we take them through a whole journey of program to make sure that they come out our back door different people. But the first things first, right? Get them fed and get them warm and get them safe.
Since it's basketball season and we cover over 300 games a year on IndianaSRN, we challenge our basketball teams and our basketball programs to get involved. There are meals that need to be served. Tell our teams out there how they can help and serve meals.
Yeah, no better way to really open your eyes to the community's needs than to stand in front of people who are desperately in need and hand them a meal, hand them what they're asking for that day. So great group opportunity is to volunteer at Wheeler Mission. You can go to wheelervolunteer.org. You can sign up a group. It can take an hour and a half to come down and serve a lunch. You can get 12, 15 people involved in that, a dinner, come down either at our men's shelter or our women's shelter. It's a really cool experience for teams, not only to help in a way that you're making a difference, but to see the people that you're helping, right? To hand a meal to someone and smile and say hi to someone literally in their darkest moment, right? So
best assist they can ever make.
Oh yeah,
is to serve a meal.
That's a good point. It's a slam dunk.
It's a slam dunk, exactly. For IndianaSRN, this is Keith Myers.
Big play here for Mount Vernon. Ertl looking right, now over the middle, fires, and it's in there for a touchdown. What a throw. Boy, what a stick, huh? Side out, back to the middle, and guess what? You want a point on the other side, you go to Taylor Lewis.
Here's Freeman. Has an opening shot. Score!
Stafford around a screen. Skip pass. Mays with 3. Mays drive. Floater up and in at the horn.
Hand off, and nice hole over the near side. 40, 35, 30. Block to the outside. 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. And that's a big one right there. And finally, somebody gets on the board. Tonight's game of the week brought to you in part by Highway Safety Services. You do what you do. We'll keep you safe doing it. Give them a call, 765-446-1502. Don't forget, after the game, we'll have the Morales Group post-game show. And, of course, we know who will be naming the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. And it's not me, so it must be you, Matthew. Don't forget.
That's true. I do have to keep that in mind, but I've got a pretty good idea so far. Almost as easy as it was the last time that I was on the air. But speaking of which, the Lindenwood University commit, Alexa DeHart, out here for Zionsville, currently sitting at 5 of Zionsville's 11 goals. And something that I actually figured out the other day was if you score 3 goals is the hat trick.
Right.
6 goals is a sock trick.
A sock trick.
A sock trick.
In lacrosse?
In lacrosse.
A sock trick.
A sock trick.
So what does that mean?
You score 6 goals, it's a sock trick. I got a buddy who I work with. He played up at Trine for 4 years, and he said 6 goals is a sock trick and 9 goals is an Ovech trick because of Alex Ovechkin.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what he told me, and he is now the all-time leading scorer, Alex Ovechkin, passing the great Wayne Gretzky.
All right, the draw control. You learn something every time we do one of these games. That'll be now 13 draw controls for the Eagles, and they score within seconds here in this third quarter, and there is Sydney Rose once again. We'll take another look at it. Boy, she got to the critical scoring area quickly, and those defenders did not close down on her at all.
Yeah, she was just able to go all the way from almost the ground control, just, I would say, a little bit across the half-field mark, and just ran straight to the goal. Nobody picked her up whatsoever. And when you have a wide-open lane, take the shot, because if nobody's going to pick you up, wide-open goal.
So now it is a 12-2 lead. That means, at this stage, a running clock. Unless the Fighting Irish can close that gap. But it has just been a dominating performance, and there is another draw control win. They'll get inside the 8-meter, low shot, good save. Messi able to reach down and get the save on the shot. So it's really now very critical for the Fighting Irish to score as quickly as they can, and unfortunately they will not do it that time, because now not only are they fighting the score, Matthew, they're fighting the clock, which is going to be very critical.
Yeah, like we said at the end of the first, try to chip it down a little bit. At this point, I still think you should do it. Chip it down a little bit at the end of the third, try to chip away at least. I try to get 5 goals away, so that fourth quarter you don't have a lot to accomplish, but you still have a good chunk to piece off. But you at least try to get this from not being a running clock.
Well, Matthew, the one thing that you just saw that right there, that was really an unforced turnover by Cathedral, and that's number 10, and you had an opportunity. And those are things you're going to look back, when you look back at the film and go, why did we make that pass, and why was it so far off the mark? I mean, we're 11 games into the season. You shouldn't be making a mistake like that.
Yeah, I think nerves has a lot to do with it. I think, hey, we're ranked number 5. Let's go. We have a chance to take over the number 4 seed, and nerves have got to them, and they're just excited. They need to come back, and they're just making some silly mistakes here.
Nice save. As Messi gets the save. That was really kind of a nice give and go that time. You had DeHart, you had Rose, and I think that one thought was there that if they could get Messi to overplay to one side, it would give Rose an opening from the top, but it didn't work.
Yeah, and that's what keepers are taught to do. Come out a little bit to close the gap, but with that, you leave your back door wide open, and if you can get that pass across and get that sneaky behind the keeper, that's exactly what you look for.
From behind the cage at the X, nothing there this time for the Fighting Irish. And they're setting here, and really, again, when you think about it at this stage, they're trying to find an opening down low. Nothing there on a low shot. Nice save by Johnston. They're trying to be patient, which you certainly have to be. You can't, like you said earlier, you're not going to get 5-6 goals quickly. But, again, you got to think that when you're behind this far, and you really can't afford to give up anything else here to Zionsville, because then you're fighting that uphill battle again against that clock. But you got to make every possession count.
Yeah, and great shots like that are what you look for, because eventually one of those is going to fall. But like the possession prior to that, those silly turnovers, you got to cut those down.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That is by the way, that was their 10th turnover. Boy, you look at that number, and then you look at the amount of draw controls, and you contrast that. We're talking about 14-3, so you're plus 11 if you're Zionsville there. You're plus 3 there on the turnover department for Zionsville. I mean, that's a lot of extra possessions for one team.
And those extra possessions lead to extra shots, which lead to extra goals, and I think that's where your 10-goal difference is coming from.
Penalty that time against the Eagles, so we'll head the other way. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Officially Human. Their mission is to restore respect to game officials and recognize them as authorities on the field and the court. Do your part, practice good sportsmanship. If we don't have officials, we don't play. Trying to convince Matthew to be a basketball official next year. It's good for you.
I mean, it gets me some good exercise, and I heard the pay's not bad. I just don't know if I got a whole lot of time heading into my senior year of school.
Yeah, skip the school part. So it will be Zionsville back on defense again. Cathedral on the attack. Yeah, the pay's good, and I've been an official for a few years. The pay is good. The only problem is there's a lot of people yell at you for some reason. I don't understand. If half the crowd always doesn't like your calls all the time.
That's true, and especially if you're from that area, then now granted I'm from Illinois, so it wouldn't be that big a deal for me. But I know some refs at my hometown where they ref our home high school games, and they're just.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. All right, turnover again there for Cathedral. Yeah, we are professional punching bags indeed. Back the other way, good save on the high shot. Excellent job by Meshi that time.
Looks like Meshi's come out this second half ready to play. Definitely on her toes some more, anticipating those shots. An unfortunate turnover right there.
Boy, that stick check has really bothered the Fighting Irish tonight. You get stick on stick. That's really the big key. You can stop a lot of shots and make them go just about everywhere other than where you want them to go. But as a offensive player, you got to be able to protect that ball, because that's now 12 turnovers for the Fighting Irish.
And that's something that Zionsville does really well. They take good care of that ball. Take very good care of the ball when they're on the offensive side, and it's like blood in the water when that ball hits the ground. I mean, you have 4, if not 5, Zionsville players all surrounded the ball to try to get a possession.
Yeah, they've kind of settled in after that 8-goal first quarter, but they were on a blitz for that first 10 minutes of play. From behind the cage, and a whistle, and looks like they'll get the Fighting Irish, and we will have free position chance here again for Zionsville, number 7 on the night. Tough angle here from the left. As a keeper, you kind of like this, that you know that most of the shots are going to have to go to your left. And that one hit the keeper and then one off the post. So a pipe shot, once it hit the keeper, will head the other way. Good job again by Meshi. 3 good saves in a row. Clock is under 4:30 to go here in the third. Battle of number 4, number 5. That'll be a big-time check right there. That's going to send a player to the penalty box there for Zionsville. It will be a yellow, so that's going to put Cathedral up 1. So now the Fighting Irish, a player up here, and now we have the one official walking. You see him right there. I think he's making sure that they're going to reset the clock. They put it at 4 minutes. They want 4:12 on the clock now.
I think that's something that I've seen every single time that the Fighting Irish have been on the offensive side. Either O'Connor or Ahern end up on the ground, and so a little bit more aggressive on the play on the defensive side by the Eagles, and I think that also has a lot to do with the defensive side.
Well, they do score. So O'Connor gets on the board, and when you're up 1, you certainly want a power play goal like that. You want to score, and they did. Take another look at it. Yeah, it's tough when you're down 1 player. You got to play that zone, and then sometimes zone can be tougher. I can use basketball as kind of a reference here. A lot of players don't like playing zone because you're never quite sure sometimes who you're supposed to be guarding, and that kind of happened that time to Zionsville as they were caught a little bit out of position. Now 12-3.
Yeah, and being down, not only having to force to play the zone there, being down a player, that means there's always going to have somebody open on the opposite side. So for the Fighting Irish there, they're always going to have somebody open. So trying to find the open player there, move the ball around, there's always got to be somebody open. And in this case, majority of the time, the Eagles are double-teaming O'Connor and Ahern, so you really got to be able to find those open players there. And it just happened to be that time around. You didn't really need to find the open players as you were the open one and just took the shot.
Zionsville, by the way, ended up winning the draw control, but they'll give it back now to the Fighting Irish, trying to get back into this one. They trail it by 9 as we come up on 3.5 remaining here in the quarter, and then another turnover there by the Fighting Irish. We have them for 13. Here come the Eagles once again. That is Catherine DeHart, and she will give it off now to Alexa DeHart. That's a tough guard right there if you're one-on-one against Alexa DeHart, so you see now the double team coming. I think the key for Cathedral there is just make sure she doesn't hit you again because she's had so much success tonight with the 5 goals. Just get it out of her hands as much as you can.
Exactly. If you're the Fighting Irish here, as long as Alexa DeHart doesn't have the ball, you can, I wouldn't say relax, but you don't have to have quite as many anxiety attacks there.
They kind of breathe heavy when she gets a hold of it, right? Official stops play here. I'm not sure what the explanation is, so we have 2 officials. Looks like we're going to get a stoppage of clock right here at 2:30 until they discuss what is going on. I think they're just going to say, I'd say just going to, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and have a free position shot. Nope, they're going to keep it out front. So it will be at the 12-meter after the stoppage of play. Sometimes the official's not sure maybe what the other one may have called and what then the procedure is following the call. How about splitting the double team there by Ventrone? Here's another situation where you can probably use a lot of clock. You know that Cathedral has been pretty much on their heels all night long. They know they can't give up any more, and they do right there. Sidearm shot again by Alexa DeHart, and that's number 6. And what's that called again?
That's the sock trick for her.
You may have to text that to me in case I need it again somewhere down the line. What a shot, though. See, you're making headlines up here now. Look at that.
I mean, what can I say? I'm always here to teach.
Enlighten us.
And enlighten people on today's hip terms, if you will.
Well, you did it right there. Is now the clock running again at 13-3. If we get to, what's the the next?
9 goals is the Ovech trick.
Ovech trick.
For Alex Ovechkin.
Okay. Has he ever had 9 goals in a game, or is that just
I think he has, and I think that's how. I think he's done it more than once as well.
Really?
So I would assume. Now I'm not a huge hockey fan, so I watched it when the Blackhawks were good, running the 2010s. But I currently I don't watch hockey.
Okay, well, we'll get you back. You can see my Blackhawks.
Yeah,
we'll get you back into it here eventually. So that's, by the way, the 16th draw control. It's 16-3 tonight for Zionsville. And you see that clock now running down in the final 32 seconds and counting. That will go against the Fighting Irish. They will stop the clock here at 26 seconds remaining. Plenty of time here for Zionsville to get another one. The double team. A lot of blue jerseys around Ventrone, who just scored moments ago. She's going to take a shot. Got another hard hit right there. And so it will be a free position opportunity here for Ventrone. She actually was a couple of steps behind the 12-meter. That shot went a little bit high and wide, so that's going to do it for the third quarter. DeHart has 6 on the night. Right now, Zionsville leads this one 13-3.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Bertner Electric Incorporated provides professional commercial electrical contractor services to Indianapolis and surrounding communities. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years, our knowledge and experience make us the perfect choice for all your commercial electrical contractor needs. Contact us today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as...
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Family Source Insurance. Pat Cherry is your independent agent representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Give him a call if you'd like more information at 317-894-7000. You take a look there at the Fighting Irish. They trail it by 10 as we're heading to the final period of play. You know, I've learned a lot tonight, and I don't have a great memory, so I'm counting on you to send me all this information, because you and I will be together on Thursday.
That's true.
So I'm expecting it to be in my inbox by Thursday, okay?
All right.
We got all kinds of things going on hat tricks and these tricks and that tricks. By the way, the most goals scored in a NHL game, is our infamous producer Chuck said, is 5. We're just trying to figure out who it was.
Yeah, and we figured it out that the Ovech trick was actually from a Verizon commercial. It didn't actually happen in real life, but it was indeed by Alex Ovechkin. So I'm glad I got that right. Now the finer details I didn't have exactly right, but at least the Ovech trick in of itself.
Matthew, do not sell yourself short. If it was real in your mind, that's all that matters, okay?
You know what? I appreciate that.
You know, sometimes when you're doing all that studying like you're doing in college, and Chuck and I skipped studying. We were just so smart we didn't need to study, but but it's okay. You've got a lot going on in your mind these days. So now let's talk about period number 4. It's probably a long shot right now for Cathedral. They've got to now think about, listen, what positives can we do in the fourth quarter that we'll take into our next game? I'm not sure they're going to show that first quarter to their team, but after that, they played much better. But now they got to find a way to make another positive going into the next game.
Yeah, at this point, I would definitely agree with you and say somehow we got to ease the bleeding here. Gotta at least, and like I said win the quarter.
Yeah.
Win the quarter. If you can win this fourth quarter, you're going to end the game on a high note and at least not get completely curb stomped and walked all over.
Very true. By the way, good look. This is a beautiful facility. We have been here a couple of times, and just a great place. They have baseball and softball. They play soccer here. It's just a nice facility they have here at Zionsville, and I'm sure they're very blessed and pleased that they're able to bring the teams in here that they get a chance to play here. So.
Yeah, I'd never been here before, and so this is my first time here, and I think this is the nicest field and nicest complex that I've probably ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they do a nice job here at Zionsville and all of their athletic programs. After the draw control is won, Zionsville will give it up, and now the Fighting Irish. You know, one thing that I've got to mention, we saw this early in the contest too, that Zionsville defense, they pick you up from end to end. It really isn't any time you see a lot of teams, they'll pull back and they'll wait for you to get past midfield, but not Zionsville. They come at you from the time that you get possession all the way to the other end of the field.
Yeah, and I remember playing high school soccer. My soccer coach would always tell me, your attackers are always your first line of defense. And I think that's exactly what Zionsville has done here, is those attackers, those forwards have turned around and they're the first line of defense. And more times than not, they're the ones that cause their turnovers and just get the ball back right there on their own side of the field.
After the penalty is called, we will have a free position opportunity again. Hellbring in the lineup, gets checked from behind, and the save. And it'll go back over to the Fighting Irish. Nice job again by Meshi. You know, Meshi's actually played pretty well after that first quarter overall.
Yeah, very much so. I think she just came out a little flat that first quarter, and unfortunate for her and Cathedral as a team. I think that they dug themselves a big hole there in that first quarter, and I don't think they're going to be able to quite dig themselves out of it.
I think they're a lot like you and me and everybody else. We were kind of in shock a little bit, weren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
So now the Fighting Irish with 10 minutes remaining. Uh-oh, we're going to get the news here. What is it?
Joe Malone has the record for most goals in a single game, 7 in 1920.
Here's a shot from over the top. The score by Ahern. So it's Joe Malone, you said, has 7 goals back in 1920. Who did Joe play for?
The Quebec Bulldogs. I just looked that up right now. Scored on January 31st, 1920, according to NBC Sports Bay Area.
All right, here it's now 13-4. As you got to look at that last goal. Ahern got her second of the night. That'll come here in the fourth at 9:46.
I'm not trying to give myself too much credit, but we saw the last game that we worked. I spoke a few goals into existence. Now, if I were to speak the Ovechkin into existence, I don't know when the next time Ovechkin is set to play. But if he scores 9 goals, I'm going to buy a lottery ticket.
I'll be right there with you, too. Another draw control won by Zionsville as they're back in the critical scoring area. And once again, nice pass to the inside, the turn, and the score. Looked like that might have been Addie Faber. So Faber getting into the scoring act tonight. That is when you watch that transition again, and they got inside that 12-meter, which when you look at the top of the 12-meter, that's what we call the critical scoring areas, that they just wasted no time again, and the passing to the inside was just brilliant.
That's exactly, I agree with you. And if I had to guess, Faber was in the huddle and said, let me get in on this action. You know, DeHart, you have 6. Can I at least get 1? And there, sure enough, she got her 1.
She got her 1.
Share the love.
Yeah, they've been sharing it a lot here tonight. A lot of assists, a lot of scoring for Zionsville. They are about ready to move their record now to 9-1. Their lone loss this year, that was to number 1 Guerin. They lost that one 13-6. As we have another chance, there's a lot of contact right there. Looks like it will go over to the Fighting Irish. But their last, now 3-4 games have been very impressive. both teams have played a good schedule. There's no doubt about that. Right now, by the way, Guerin is 10-1 going into action tonight. Cathedral now will be 9-2, so they have a little bit of a cushion there in the Southern Division of the 2A North region. And right now for Zionsville, they will even pad a little bit more. They go to 9-1, and HSE coming into tonight's action 5-2, so they literally have about a 2.5 game lead in that division too.
Yeah, and Cathedral actually on the 9-game winning streak. Their first loss came from their very first game, and so to have Zionsville, kind of stop that momentum, especially this late into the season, I hope Cathedral can bounce back from that, because losing a game like this to this score could, detour what you've already accomplished.
Ball came loose. It'll stay with Zionsville. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Aspen Creek Grill. If you're looking for amazing fresh food, and servers genuinely care about their service as well, make sure you check out Aspen Creek Grill, 866-885-3249 for more information. Eagles going to just settle in right here at the 12-meter and run a little clock, which is always a good maneuver to use if you need it. There's a nice save off the shot there by Ventrone. Some people wonder, well, why do you perhaps use clock? Why do you need to do that? Again, there's no shot clock in high school lacrosse, but I always, as a coach, you wanted to say, listen, we might have to use this sometime down the road when it's maybe 4-3 or 5-4, and we want to use clock. We have to know how to keep that possession, and that could be a big key.
Yeah, exactly, especially if you're in a postseason game, where it's win or go home. If you can't run clock, that could cost you the game. If you get a shot off in 5 seconds or 35 seconds, that 30 seconds could decide a team getting a quick goal or even two at that point, that long.
Yeah, and then that comes down to a lot of discipline, too. A lot of teams don't like doing that. Free position opportunity here for the Fighting Irish, and a high stick, and this may bring out a yellow on this one, as that was, again, very high around the head area. And, of course, in girls lacrosse, you got to be very careful. They don't have helmets like they do in the boys' game. That is the 6th free position opportunity tonight for the Fighting Irish, and that looks like number 21, which is Ahern, will come out of the lineup. So they will have an opportunity here. Looks like number 31, Lauren Craigie, will step in. She will bypass. We saw this play earlier, and the ball comes loose. Craigie apparently not one of their better free position shooters, so they wanted to see if they could maybe set something up to the outside. So, again, the clock continues to run here in the final period of play. If you just joined us at some point in this broadcast late, it was 8-0 after 1. The nice dive and the score. Excellent job. Sturchy will score. And that makes it 14-5.
Happy to see Sturchy get on the board there. According to her stats, she's more of an assist kind of person, leading the team with 17 assists, only having 8 shots, which Trail is actually 4th for team stats-wise. But happy to see her get on the board there, especially with Ahern getting injured there and having to come out.
Yeah, that's a nice pick-me-up right there. So now the clock stops at 5:20. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Wheeler Mission. For over 131 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. If you'd like to volunteer or need more information, give them a call, 317-686-6239. Once again, the draw won by Zionsville. That is a staggering number that they have done tonight. You talk about, what is that now, 19-3. You're going to win a lot of games if you do that, 19-3.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how big of an impact those draw controls actually play on in a game, and especially at that large of a difference, you're going to see some impact there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It'll always make sure that you know that's a extra possession each and every time. And right now, when you figure you're plus 16 in that category, you're also now a plus. They've had 14 and 8, so you're plus 6 in the turnover category. I mean, that's a lot of extra possessions.
Yeah, and that's even, let's say you capitalize on just half of those. I mean, that's still 10-plus goals, and that's if just only half of them. Some teams are going to capitalize more off of those, some less. So on average, though, I mean, being up 7 goals in that amount of possessions is good productivity.
Well, think about it in any other terms. If you were playing basketball and you gave the other team an extra 20 possessions, it's hard to think if even if they score only half of those, you got a long way to go to catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
Under 4 minutes to go, and you see right here as Zionsville is using clock. They've really spread the field here. And that means Cathedral is going to have to chase a lot, and that means a lot of open lanes and a score. Ventrone again. There is the other side of that when you consider – we talked about spreading. Watch, and you see this. Look how spread it out is. All the defenders are everywhere, and it's set up a one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
And she turned those afterburners on once she beat her defenders on open lane and absolutely just turned the afterburners on and ran straight towards the goal for that one-on-one.
We have a timeout, 3:22 remaining. It's a 15-5 lead.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt. Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
You want a piece of equipment you can trust. One that's easy to use. No matter the size of the job, you want to create a feeling worthwhile, something you can use for every job. For over 60 years, Reynolds has been a community staple, ensuring our customers powerful implements, top quality care and service. You need something that's in it for the long haul. Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer, today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Highway Safety Services. You do what you do. We'll keep you safe doing it. Giving them a call at 765-446-1502. We will have the ever so famous Morales postgame show coming up when we're done, and we'll do a quick recap of tonight's game and also look ahead to our Thursday matchup between Zionsville and Carmel. That'll take place at Carmel, and then, of course, Matthew will be naming the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. I know you've already talked about who it's probably going to be, but you might want to hold off on that just in case we want to have some drama in the postgame, okay?
I will do my best to have some self-control.
Thank you. That's trying to like getting Thacker to give us some ambiance as our camera guy. He claims it's cold up there, and so he walks in, he's got shorts on, he's got a sweatshirt, and all of a sudden he's got Chuck's jacket, he's got a blanket. Why didn't he bring all that before he got here? Oh. Oh, yeah. Come on, Packer. All right. 3:22 remaining. Of course, we want to thank both coaches for providing us with a lot of great information of both their teams and bios, and just a chance really to read up on all the excellent players we see here tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing Zionsville again on Thursday. It's always fun to watch a team more than once. You kind of get to know their tendencies a little bit. You know the coach when they talk about their players. When you get to see it for real, you kind of get a really good idea of why they like their teams. And right now, I mean, certainly for Zionsville, they have to really like what they have seen tonight.
Yeah, that's why I enjoy following a team throughout the whole season, because not only you get to know the players and their tendencies, but also you get to see their progress, where they come from game one to game 10 or whatever, however many games there is, seeing the progress of how they come together as a team is a joy on my end, at least, just to talk about them and to see how they've come.
I know that we will be speaking of Anderson, the Ravens, their baseball team doing well, and how's their softball team doing?
Softball team doing better than they were last year. Still not the caliber of what our baseball team is, though.
We'll be doing the HCAC baseball tournament up in Kokomo again this year, and looking forward to doing that once again as you see the attack and the save off the shot there by Helbing. That is coming up. In fact, we're just a few weeks away from the HCAC baseball tournament. Softball tournament, I believe, we'll be doing as well after the near turnover there. It'll be Cathedral back in transition, 90 seconds remaining. But we have a whole lot of girls lacrosse, boys lacrosse coming up. That state tournament, in fact, I think both will be on IndianaSRN. Don't ask me how many games, but I'm sure we'll have quite a few depending on how the whole tournament pans out.
From what I know, I'll be on a good majority of those, from what I know.
Well, if not, tell me. I'll be your agent. You can pay me a little extra money. I'll get you on some more.
There you go. The only issue is depending on the timing, as I might be back in Illinois, but if it's any close, I'll make the trip over.
There you go. Ball picked up, and the score. After a near turnover, that's going to be O'Connor. Scored a goal in the third. Almost a turnover right there and able to pick up the loose ball. Had the defenders a little bit out of position on that one as well.
Yeah, glad to see O'Connor again finding the net on that one. She second on the goals scored for the season on the side of the Fightin' Irish, having 34 on the season. Now, I believe, sitting at 36. I believe that was her second goal that I have on my count. Now only one behind Ahern, which I believe Ahern only had one goal this game, I think.
Yes, she had it in the 9:46 of the fourth quarter. Yep.
Well, I think it got one here too.
Oh, there's one. Yep.
So she got two.
Second.
Okay,
yep.
So still two behind Ahern then, but both of them getting two on the board.
So the ball squirts loose. Turnover there by Zionsville. That is their 9th of the night. Second turnover in a row there. Another one there by Cathedral. We have them for 15 turnovers on the night. Got a yellow here from behind. Looks like that's number 26, Mattingly. So she will head to the penalty box. Is pretty much going to be it for her tonight. She might have said, you know what, I'm cold, I'm going to get a penalty here and just head to the sidelines, get warmed up. Yeah, throw the sweatpants on, it's over, let's go home.
Wonder if she's related to a Mattingly that went to Anderson last year, and I actually heard he might be transferring back. Elijah Mattingly, won Defensive Player of the Year last year.
Oh, I don't know.
That'd be what a coincidence if it was.
Well, that's going to do it. Your final score, Zionsville knocks off Cathedral. The final 15-6. We will come back. The Morales Group postgame show is coming up next here on IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Oh, okay. Well, he's making all.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Get a Gator that will get you where you need to go. Something you can get in and go with plenty of space. Be ready to tackle any terrain, large or small. When you choose Reynolds, you choose reliability. A guaranteed great customer experience and relationship from the moment you walk in. Come in and see for yourself or visit ReynoldsFarmEquipment.com.
Tonight's postgame show brought to you by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Whether you're looking to start a new career or grow your team with an exceptional talent like us, the Morales Group is here to help you succeed. Great start for Zionsville. Their best player showed up big time tonight, and we'll talk about her in a moment, but just their fast start just set the tone early in this one.
That's definitely true. Setting the tone early, getting out early, kind of let the rest of the game speak for itself. Kind of were able to not fully sit back and relax, but can almost put cruise control on there and not have to put in a whole lot much more effort into it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, it's time to name the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. Presented by Piper Logistics. From warehousing to transportation, Piper delivers solutions that keep you on the move with efficiency and reliability. Piper Logistics, they get the job done, and so did our player of the game tonight.
Now, this should not come to any surprise whatsoever. You know, we mentioned race to double digits, and she almost did it herself with what we newly found out as the sock trick. It's none other than Alexa DeHart.
Yeah, great game tonight. You can see why she's as good as she is. You know, the advantage that you have as her head coach, you get it for another year, too. So 6 goals tonight. She is the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. We remind you, we will be at Carmel on Thursday night. It'll be Zionsville Carmel, number 2, number 4. We're expecting another excellent game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot. Definitely looking forward to seeing what Zionsville can do and carrying over off of this huge, not only the score, but the caliber of what this game was going into it. 4 versus 5, winning by that score right there. That's still on the scoreboard, 15-6. Use that momentum to come in and knock off Carmel.
Yeah, it sends a message, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Want to thank Thacker, our camera guy, who, by the way, brought us all the ambiance here this evening. Chuck, as always, our producer. For Matthew, I'm Troy Nergowski. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you Thursday right here on Indiana SRN.